we've been doing these what we call TTT sessions, right? Train the trainer sessions. Obviously, we are training people and hopefully inspiring them to want to train on this, right? And share, right? Share whatever that we know and so forth. As what Tony was sharing earlier when he came in, right? The journey in Microsoft is one of ever-going learning, right? So Amar was also ex-Microsoft, so he can testify to that as well. All right. So these sessions, sessions where we pour our heart out, we go out there and soak up the environment with whatever knowledge that we have and we can gather, right? So this series of sessions we started quite a few months ago. We call it Have Fun with ChatGPT, right? Truly from that perspective, we want to promote the fun part of it, okay? From this month onwards, we decided to do it from a different perspective, right? So we coined it the good, the bad, the ugly, right? For a reason, because technology being technology, there are aspects of it, I think, that is really, really good. I think AI is a technology that's amazing, right? And you soon see and get a perspective of it, but there is also a bad aspect of it that we need to be familiar with, we need to be ready for. And of course, there's also the ugly part of it. Ugly here doesn't necessarily mean like what we perceive ugly from the exterior perspective, but they could be ugliness from a perspective of destruction, right? They could be ugliness from a perspective of death, if you want. Okay, so there's elements that the world can, how do you say, manipulate and change, right, to the point where it could create a lot of problems for the world, right, for humanity. All right. So before we start, I want all of us to register, scan this QR code. If you are on the computer, I know if you're on the phone, it might be very difficult to scan the QR code because you're watching it on the phone. But if you're on the computer, I want you to scan this. Okay? And the purpose of this registration really is so that we can capture details and continue to re-invite you. One of the things that we never did because we really didn't want the trouble of registering people and keeping a database, but we realized that there are some people who are saying that, how come you forgot to invite us this time around? But we never collected anyone's data, so we could not invite. All right, so we wanted to consciously invite people for future sessions so that they can continue to benefit from the sharing that we have from the community. Truly, these sessions are the heart of the community poured back into the community. Right, so please scan this QR code and register. We don't need a lot of your details, just enough to keep you informed of future sessions. Okay, so that's the purpose of the registration. If someone can help me post this into the chat as well, for those who drop by later, all right, so that they can also be registered. So my name's Noel. I used to work in Microsoft Malaysia, right? More than 10 years ago, or just over 10 years ago, I exited the company. I started on my own, but still supporting Microsoft across the region. All right, so that's the work that I've been doing. And together with me, I have a team of people. Most of them are here, right? You probably recognize some of the names like Ko, Amar, right? Lorraine, Sharon, Vic. I think Vic is also here. Yes, he is. He also sent his author as well, I saw. All right, so there's a number of us that supports it, and we also have a guest speaker. All right, his name is Chris. All right, so Chris has so generous for the last few months. He's been popping in, sharing his knowledge as well. All right, to help others learn about it. So this time around, together with Sharon, both of them are going to do a role play. All right, around the area of, I believe, how people can benefit from AI. All right, I think that's the important part of it. So that's the good element of it. But in this session, I will also be sharing what are the bad and the ugly as well. Although we may not have time to go deep, but I would just want to start the ball rolling. Right? We have this spirit, if you want, from a perspective of looking at everything being part of a solution. We want to be a part of the solution to solve problems for people, including ourselves. We don't want to be part of a problem. So when there's a problem statement, we want to be part of the solution, right? So this statement from Stephen Covey resonates with me a lot, right? Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So these sessions, as what we call the TTTs, is truly an exhibit of action, if you want, to be part of a solution to help people understand the benefits of AI, all right? And this spoke to me today, all right? When you try to control everything, you enjoy nothing. Sometimes you just need to relax, breathe, let go, and live in the moment. In fact, I did exactly that, and a whole bunch of things started to come in, right? Including this video that I was watching. So in the spirit of making sure that you maximize your learning, I want you to have this attitude of no stupid questions. So all questions are good. You can post them into the chat window. And towards the end, if you want to unmute yourself and ask questions, by all means. All right, we have enough people in the group here who will be more than happy to share whatever they know. Okay, so this is the movie that I saw. It's just over an hour. All right, I just finished that like about an hour ago, and I picked up the trailer. And hold on to your seat. This particular show is real. This is like a documentary. This is not a movie. Let me know if you can hear the sound, okay?
AI is a dual-edged sword. At the flip of a switch, the technology becomes lethal.
There is no place that is ground zero for this conversation more than military applications.
Forces that are supported by AI will absolutely crush and destroy forces without.
Militaries are racing to develop AI faster than their adversaries.
The AI, unless it's told to fear death, will not fear death.
There is no second place in war.
If you're going up against an AI pilot, you don't stand a chance.
How would a robot know the difference between what's legal and what is right?
The hairs on the back of my neck literally stood up on end. The computer made tens of thousands of ideas for new chemical weapons.
Will we cede the decision to take a life to algorithms, to computer software? It's one of the most pressing issues of our time. And if not used wisely, poses a grave risk to every single person on the planet.
I know the title doesn't tell you much about AI. In fact, I didn't realize it was something about AI until I started to watch it. Then I realized it's like this movie was meant to be shared today in this session. All right. And the timeliness is amazing because the technology that we're talking about is one of the passion of our CEO, all right, Satya Nadella of Microsoft. And the way Microsoft has embraced AI, I believe, is unprecedented, right? I've not seen any organization grab it, if you want, as deeply, as tightly as Microsoft. They started in 2016 to embrace AI with machine learning, right? It was going into technology like SQL Server and so forth. But today, right, and soon you will see that everything Microsoft churns out will have AI. All right, and that's an area of importance. And of course, AI comes from the fact that there's so much data out there. So it's not surprising that back in 2017, The Economist has already shared that the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. In fact, one of my classmates from school rang me, right, while I was watching the movie about his son wanting to learn technology, right? About to go into university and what course to do. And he says that his son wants to do data, he wants to be a data scientist. I thought, wow, that's spot on, all right? That's the area that goes into AI. So if any of you have kids that are about to go into university, all right, I think this is one area And of course, the other area will be cybersecurity. And of course, the way technology works is you could combine the two together. You can do data and cybersecurity, right? So you can have cybersecurity knowledge to protect data. And that's a much needed set of skills. So when we first started this Have Fun with ChatGPT back in February, we had these elements that we covered. And we will untangle those pieces as we go along the next few weeks as well. Because some of these things are still extremely important, right? The technology, the possibilities are truly amazing. It's outstanding if you want, but there are warnings and cautions and so forth that all of us need to embrace to make sure that we are safe, okay? Now, if those of you who are using it for work, I think you also need to have a balance and to make sure that you check the things that you're getting from AI, right? There's this concept called hallucination that I will talk about briefly later. So tools like AI detection tools are there for a purpose. And sometimes you may need one or two, maybe even three, to check on the information that you got from ChatGPT, for example, right? So make sure that you don't plagiarize, you don't get yourself in trouble. Because there are people in the past that have got themselves in trouble. Okay. So this series is what we call the good, the bad, the ugly. Now, some of you may have seen this Western movie, The Good, Bad, and Ugly. It's nothing to do with this one with Clint Eastwood. All right. It's about how the technology can be used for good, can be used for bad, and can be ugly as well. Okay. So these are the three elements that we want to what called socialize and go deeper with so that we get a better understanding. All right. Now, from a good perspective, there are many, many things that's good. All right. In recent days, ChatGPT is now available on the phone. It's only on the iPhone at this point in time. All right. And in fact, in this region, we have also got it. I know in the earlier couple of months, it was only available in US and Europe, but in the recent months, it's now also available in our region. So this particular bit here is to show that there's an official app. Please download the official app. Do not get a trick into downloading the unofficial app because there's a lot of malware out there that tries to trick you into thinking they are the official one. So the icon looks like this, okay? And we'll actually say that the official app, right? So one of the demos I want to show you is actually using it on my phone, all right? And I'm going to remote control my phone so that you can actually see the iPhone in action with ChatGPT. This is something I'm going to do later, all right, so that you get a first hand if you have not seen it in action, okay? And some of the other areas I want to talk about in terms of supporting the goodness of ChatGPT and AI as a whole, all right, would be from this guy called Sal Khan. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Khan Academy, all right? It's a very popular platform for learning. And there's also this scientist here who's been talking a lot about how to use it for good as a part to how we use it for bad, okay? And of course, even in the last few months, Vic has talked a lot about translation. We will bring that back because translation is a big issue in the world we live in, right? In some countries, like Amar tells me in India, how many languages are there in India, Amar?
There are at least 120, but official languages are almost 20, 25 now.
Okay.
Means every state has their unique language, and in an angle of technology wise, even officially Microsoft supports 18 languages, 24 languages on the PC.
Wow. That's all the need, right? You can see just for India alone, there's a significant need for translation tools. Right, so tools like AI will definitely help, okay, to break down these barriers of languages. But I also going to point out the dangers, okay? And you will find that tools like ChatGPT and even Bing Chat can make up information from nothing, right? So that term is called hallucination, right? So you have to be very careful. So if you're going to use AI as a tool, right? Use ChatGPT as a tool to support your work. It's a very, very good idea. There are many, many safe ways to use it, okay? But make sure that you don't fall for the bad, okay? So that's the key point of it, right? And what is the ugly, if you want? Now, the ugly part really comes from the fact that if you have information that is private and confidential, do not put it into the chatbot. Do not put into the ChatGPT, because in the earlier days, workers in Samsung found out the hard way and they lost their jobs. And in recent days, there was a lawyer, right, who used ChatGPT, although he refused to admit it at the beginning, right? And it was citing fake cases. It made up cases that never existed, but it made it up in such a way that it looks so real, to the point that even the lawyer cannot tell the difference, right? So you actually need to double check and so forth. Now, those of you who have done research projects, have gone to university and done projects and so forth, you know that you have to do your research and you have to go find references and so forth. So one of the things that we've been telling people to do is, if you use ChatGPT for research, you probably need to use maybe another chatbot, maybe Bing Chat, for example, or even Google, to double reference the information that it gives you back. That doesn't necessarily saves you a lot of time, but at least you don't quote something that is fake, right? It'd be very embarrassing. Can you imagine the lawyer standing in front of the judge quoting fake cases, right? And only to be found out, all right? So the point here is, there are a lot of risks when you don't do the necessary due diligence. Now, the other ugly bit that I'm very concerned about is how the hackers are using it to make their attacks more sophisticated. So the risk of cyber threats has intensified, if you want, because of that. So they're writing malware. Hackers are writing malware with it. And not only that, they are also using tools like ChatGPT and so forth to scan through software to find vulnerabilities, to find weaknesses, so that they can then attack those technology with precision, if you want. See, in the past, a lot of times the hackers, when they attack an environment, they are guessing what are the weaknesses. So they're doing port scanning and they're scanning the system to see where the weaknesses are. Now, if they use a chatbot to scan the software, they then be able to precisely pinpoint the weakness, and then they just go in and attack that. It's like military warfare, isn't it? So that's why that trailer that I showed you was particularly scary for me when I saw that movie, how real the world is using AI for warfare. Now, the series that we've been doing since February this year centered around personas. Personas are, if you want, roles, people in different jobs and so forth. And we want to continue to embrace that approach to personalize how AI, how ChatGPT, Bing Chat, and so forth can help the roles that we play at work, or even the people whom we know. The important thing is, it's all about people and how it can help us, or it can be bad for us, or it can be ugly for us. So that's the aspect of it. So those of you who don't know, all right, ChatGPT is simply like a search engine, but with intelligence. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the ChatGPT from the phone. Okay, so I'm going to connect to it from the phone. Just bear with me for a second. 895. Okay. So I'm using a tool called AnyDesk, for those of you who are not familiar with it. So I've got AnyDesk running on my phone, and I have AnyDesk running on my computer. Okay. So from there, I'm able to take over the phone. Right. So just let me bring that over. Okay, so this is the AnyDesk tool. It's a remote control tool. By the way, these tools can be used for good and bad as well, right? So as to alert you, all right, if you are using these tools, you need to make sure that you use these tools with safety guardrails, as they call it. All right, so I've taken over my phone from the computer. So this is ChatGPT on my phone, but I'm remoting to it from the computer. Okay, so what is ChatGPT? Oops, hold on. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I need to type it on the phone.
Yep.
I was trying to type it from the computer.
Yep.
Right. So answering that question on the slide. So what is ChatGPT? I'm asking ChatGPT what is itself. Okay. So now those of you who have never used ChatGPT before, the implementation of ChatGPT on the phone is actually quite nice. All right. It's extremely simple. And while it's thinking, right, you see these three dots here going from left to right. It's actually thinking, it's giving you answers and so forth. All right. The phone is actually vibrating very gently. Right. So it has a very nice way of being implemented. Right. They've done a good job with the implementation. It's simple and yet easy to use. Okay. Now, the way to use a tool like ChatGPT is give it context, right? Tell me more. Okay, so I asked a question earlier. Oops, typed it too fast.
Well, I think you can use even your keyboard, Noel, on your ready desk.
I tried. It didn't
I
work.
thought.
It didn't work. So that's why I'm like, "Really? How come it didn't work?" But I realized I actually have to do it from the. I still thinking. That's why it won't let me hit the what do you call the key here. It just paused. Right?
It is still responding for your last question, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if I confused it because I didn't complete my question. All right.
Oh, okay. Tell me, that's where it is still searching. What about?
Actually, what I wanted to do was to piggyback on the previous question, right? What is ChatGPT? And I wanted it to say, tell me more, right? So tell me more about itself, right? So let me think. Okay, I'm just going to.
I think the beauty is the history you can still continue from web browser as well, right?
Yes, correct. Because both are signed in with the same login.
Awesome.
Okay, let's retry it. Now, why they make the interface so simple is because obviously on the phone, there's not a lot of space. Real estate is very precious, right? Very limited. Right? So the simplicity of it makes it easy to use and maximizes whatever space that it has. Right? Maybe it's time for me to reboot the ChatGPT here. It's a bit slow at the moment. Right? But earlier when I was testing it and so forth, it was actually very, very fast. Right? The information comes up within seconds. Right? Okay. What I'll do
is the chat GPT on the app? No, because my one is also not responding. It looks like it's thinking. It's scrolling, but it's not giving me the answer.
yeah.
It's the app.
The other thing that someone told me about is because come this time, the other parts of the world are waking up, they are also using it. So there are millions of users around the world using it. But when it's morning here, the other parts of the world could be sleeping. So there are less traffic going to the service, right? Because a lot of the service, a lot of the ChatGPT service, or rather the OpenAI service, are running on the Azure, the Microsoft Azure cloud. Okay, so that said, it's probably very busy. So I'll come back to this demo later. I'll show you what are some of the results of it. But effectively, for many of you who are not using the iPhone, what you do is you just sign up with the browser. Okay, any browser would do. All right, so I'm going to use my favorite browser. Okay, I'm just showing one of my church members just now how to join the meeting. Right, so you just sign in from here. Right. So the company that produces this technology is called OpenAI. Okay, so the website is openai.com. Right, if you scroll down, right,
you can use it for products as well, from the top products.
Yeah. So here,
yeah.
So you can go to ChatGPT from here. So they have a lot of tools available, right? Obviously, ChatGPT is meant to be just a chatbot, all right? Basically meaning it thrives on text, all right? You type in the text. It doesn't work with graphics. But they also have this tool called DALL-E. DALL-E works with graphics, okay? So this is the tool that we want. The UI for ChatGPT on the phone obviously will not be the same, right, compared to the computer. But the key point here is it thrives on simplicity, right? For those of you who are new to ChatGPT, I urge you to just use these samples to get started. That's how I got started many months ago, all right? You don't need to crack your head trying to figure out what to ask. Just start with these examples. And today, there are hundreds of videos on YouTube and so forth that you can follow. Okay, I myself also use many of those to learn. Right, it's a lifetime journey of learning to get into it. Okay, so I can type the same question as I did earlier. So what is ChatGPT?
Spelling
I
mistake,
can't even type anymore.
but still, but it still should recognize.
Yeah, it does. It does have intelligence to autofill any
Yeah.
typo that you have, right? Most of the time, it does a good job, right? But you know what, though? When you don't type it correctly, you have to get it to fix it for you. So that also slows it down, right?
Correct. Because it goes as for a different search engines.
Yeah.
To identify if any other name of ChatGPT.
Now, one of the things that I urge you to try when you're learning this tool is to put on the additional capability to send a voice prompt. Okay, so there is the additional voice prompt that you can add, okay, so that you can actually get right. Now, good question. Vic is asking, why not use Bing Chat for now? Okay, so why not? Let's try it. Okay, show you the difference between the ChatGPT and Bing Chat. Okay. So Bing.com is Microsoft's equivalent of Google.com, if you want. Okay. So Bing Chat is integrated into Bing, right? Obviously, but giving you the chat capability like ChatGPT, right? A lot of times we use both. The thing that I like most about Bing Chat is it gives me references, okay, which is something that ChatGPT doesn't. Now, the references are very important because the references shows you where that information comes from. So if you're worried that the information is presenting to you is hallucination of ChatGPT, then Bing Chat would not suffer from that because the references should take you back to the original website, right? So what are those references? These are the references that it presented to me, right? Based on the question that I asked, which was, what is ChatGPT? Okay. So if I don't trust some of this information, I can always go back to the references to see whether it takes me to the original website, for example. I want to go to the OpenAI website, right? To go back to the original author, the original people who wrote the software. So this is just some simple ways for you to get started. But on YouTube, there's so many, all right? And some of them are really, really powerful. In fact, in the next few sessions, we're going to dig up some of those and give you real deep insights on how to use it. So that's just a very quick recap, if you want, on what is ChatGPT for those of you who are new. We have covered this several times in the past, right? So sign up for it and then start using it, right? It's a website. First and foremost, for all of us, it's a website. Now, those of you who want to use it on the phone, remember, it's only available officially on the iPhone. Okay. Yeah. The Android, not yet. Okay. So if you go to the Google Play Store and you see all these alternatives to ChatGPT, please be very careful because there are a lot of malware on the Android platform. I'm not saying there are none on the Apple platform, but it's an amazing tool for all of us, right? For everyone, you and me included, right? So everyone can benefit. Now, these are some of the things. Yes, Aman.
My AnyDesk is working on phone. Do you want me to share the screen? You want to showcase?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Maybe in India, now everyone will be in traffic going home. Okay.
Maybe you're hosting the service out of India.
Yeah, that's what I
My
mean.
chat GPT is still scrolling, but my Bing chat already answered a long time ago.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just
Someone in the chat asked if we could increase the wordings a little
Make it
bit
look
bigger,
bigger.
sharing on the browser.
yep, let's try that too. Mhm. So I have asked a question asking ChatGPT versus Google search in table format. Basically, I wanted a comparison. Okay. Meanwhile,
Can you make the UI bigger?
that's what I'm trying. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can display settings, right? Stretch.
Maybe
Yeah.
you can screenshot and then put on the chat box. That
Is
can
this
enlarge.
okay? Oh, it is stretched.
Yeah, it's better.
Better.
Yeah, it's better.
Did I ask a tough question to it?
Must be. Oh, the servers are very busy. I reckon the servers are
Very
very busy.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
I think it is also taking the same time, but it was responding to me just before a second.
I think the ChatGPT is having a stage fright.
So can I open anything like
Try.
so yeah, so I was just trying to use it for my translation. Okay.
Yep.
If it is showing something to you, yeah. So basically, we are working on certain things of an interior, right, Noel? So I was trying to understand the quality of Duco paints versus the PU polyurethane. Okay.
Okay.
Because before I get into interior management discussion, I was just asking what is what, how it works, and other stuff, right? The quality, finishing. This is how the table it has created for me. Okay. And the good part is because I wanted to explain to someone in my parents kind of, right? So how do I explain to them in a simple manner? I was just taking the help that how can I explain to a 10-year-old kid, okay, this quality. And the best part is I wanted to translate to my parents to copy paste and help them.
Wow.
So these were all something which yesterday I was just trying to help them because they doesn't know what is the thing which we are going with on the investment. So they wanted to know, right? So to make it simple for them, this is a local language. It's a Bangalore Kannada we call, right?
Okay.
This is the language. So I just translated the above entire result to me in a local language.
Yep.
Yeah. So and I can copy paste this and send it to them via WhatsApp or, or the SMS too. That is a flexibility which was helpful for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
Thanks, Amar.
thank you. So I'm just trying. Looks like servers are busy, bro.
Yeah, pretty busy.
Yeah.
So
Back to you,
a
man.
lot of people have been coming to me for help in getting a job. Interesting. People in UK, people in Malaysia, even in Australia and so forth. So I found this cheat sheet, right, for dream job interviews. So hopefully those of you who know someone who is needing a job, needing some help, some support and so forth, these are useful things that you can get them to try using ChatGPT to write cover letter, customizing the resume, right? Analyzing job descriptions. Well, that was interesting. I thought, the Microsoft job descriptions generally quite detailed and complex. So I didn't realize that we could use ChatGPT to help, right? Or even optimizing the bullet points and so forth. So there's some really good stuff, right? They can use. All right. And even interview questions. So using ChatGPT to be your partner to practice your interview, and hopefully be able to be more effective during the actual interview itself. I've never seen such help available to prepare for a job in the past, right? When I was looking for work 30 plus years ago. But today, that's the world we live in, right? Even creating resumes for you, taking interview notes, mock interviews. I thought that was amazing, right? There's so much available to help people who are trying to look for work, right? So that's something to get started. So that's really good stuff. So for interest of time, and also I wanted to give uh, Sharon and Chris a chance to share about the content that they have prepped, right? I will go through these other bits from the Khan Academy, right, as well as from this Professor Wolf, right, in the next session, right? We got plenty of sessions coming up, all right? We have 3 sessions, this being the first. And of course, we want to dive into translation. So thanks to Amar, he has shown us one version of translation where he was trying to talk to his parents. Okay, I think those are perfect scenarios because a lot of times we need those things, all right? So we'll get Vic to go into this, right? In fact, we were going through a session that we want to do in Cantonese. So we'll be able to use some of these tools for really powerful content that we want to do, okay? So let me jump straight to the bit where I can pass it on to Sharon and Chris. Okay. That's the slide that I did. I thought I had a slide for it. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. I must have accidentally moved it to another part of my deck. Sharon, you ready? Chris?
Yeah, I'm ready. Chris?
Yep, ready. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, over to you guys. Take
Yeah.
us through what you have planned.
Okay. So will be an open session. So anyone who want to join in the discussion are free to do so. Just unmute and join in the discussion. Or if you got a question, you can put on the chat. So Sharon and I are just going to talk about what's happening recently in the news about AI and ChatGPT. We are not experts, okay? So we're just sharing, we're not experts. So input from you guys would be very important to us, okay? So let's start. All right, let me open up my PowerPoint.
I thought you were instructing your AI to open PowerPoint. Chris.
Okay. Now
We'll get there, Amma. Trust me,
Yes.
we'll get there.
Okay, so the thing now is that this is me personally, is that I noticed that there's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then I don't know how many phases there will be, but at the moment initially we got phase 1, which was the trying stage. We were just trying out, and then phase 2 is the testing stage, and then phase 3 is the implementation. And I think now we are in the transition between phase 2 and 3. So you got companies that are testing and implementing. So for example, if you see Fly FM in Malaysia has an AI radio DJ. Okay, so an AI powered radio DJ now Fly FM has hired. Okay, or Wimbledon. Yeah, Amar, you want to say something?
Not me.
No, that was
Okay.
me. No, don't worry.
So anyway, and we also have a Wimbledon AI announcer, right? So so that people are starting to implement this AI. But to me, the surprising thing is how quickly these companies are adopting this AI. I expect this to see this news about Fly FM, about AI radio DJ in about 2-3 years time. Looking at how technology takes some time to implement. But in less than a year, they're already starting to implement this, and that to me caught me really by surprise, and are really, really unexpected. I didn't expect it to move this fast. So you already have people who are out of a job. So for example, copywriters, they're out of a job. So I think Sharon, you'd like to share a little bit more, because I don't know anything about copywriters world.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. As Noel said, the whole team, we have loads to share because we are all individuals with very different perspective on things. Right. My background comes from my interest in education, particularly in homeschooling. So I have a very different view of things. Now, copywriter is only purely because I come from an advertising background myself. And a lot of all these chatbots are actually language-based model. So you'll notice that ChatGPT is very good with language, which is why it's able to help you write your interview letters, write letters, I use it to write letters when I can't figure out how to put things professionally, but yet try to keep casual. So I'll tell ChatGPT to write me a letter based on what I need to convey, and it'll come up with something really beautiful. You'll find that ChatGPT do not know how to count. It's not very good at mathematics, okay? I'm sure we have, I think Chris has got some funny ones, okay, that he was sharing. So this tool, I'll call it a tool, ChatGPT, Bing Chat, Bard, I think there's a few new ones, are actually language-based platform, okay? So what does copywriters do? Language. They write, they work with words. One of the first thing that I said 3 or 4 months ago was, oh no, the copywriters are going to be out of a job. I try to keep a very open mind, but it seems to be quite true now. It is happening now, particularly more with I'm sure a lot of you recognize there's a lot of self-employed freelancers in the artistic world where we do graphics, we do everything, design up to copywriting. Combination of ChatGPT coming up with a tagline and the body language, what to write and content, like this article you're looking at. Those words can actually come out from ChatGPT itself. And that picture and the design, how you're going to lay it out, it's actually, you could use DALL-E to do that. So this thing you're looking at on the screen now can actually be created, say, if you're quick, maybe within 15 minutes. If you're not, you're new, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, you know, and you'll get used to it. And within no time, you could generate something like that, like within 20 minutes, depends on how complex it is.
How long would a copywriter actually manually or just using a computer without AI to get the job done?
A copywriter will have to sit down. Generally, they have an idea what they want to write. They will have to come up with the headlines, which is what is highlighted in bold. Then they have all the wordings in the middle is called the body of text. And then everything at the bottom, you see those fine lines. The copywriter have to think of that too. A lot of copywriters actually move on to become creative directors. Quite a lot of creative directors in advertising agency are copy-based. So the creative directors actually, when they create a design, they actually come up with the wordings already, roughly, the headlines and roughly what we are writing. It's the copywriter's job, right? So the creative director come up with a design, a layout. It goes to the art director who puts in the pictures and the colors. And then it also goes to the copywriter who then comes out with the headline in full detail and what are the wordings, the content we're going to write about. With ChatGPT, the copywriter's job no longer, I could see copywriting job become obsolete in a very, very short period of time. Already now, advertising agencies, I'm sure, are already experimenting with ChatGPT and a lot more creative software beside DALL-E. We have Midjourney and we have quite a few more. So if you look at it, right, there no longer need to be a graphic artist who essentially put into fine details what the art director has sketched out. So the creative advertising agencies, I believe, will be very hard impacted by the development of all this ChatGPT and all these language bots and all this what essentially we used to call graphic platforms for advertising.
Yeah. So, but can the copywriter reskill?
Sorry, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Can a copywriter reskill or retrain so that they are able to?
I think, look, let's take it for now. Let's do it real time. Okay. Let's do it real time. If I am a copywriter, I will start thinking of actually, I will say most all copywriters will already be on it. They are quick and they know, and they will learn this software or this tool to leverage up, how is they going to use it for themselves? Okay. When is not possible to leverage up because jobs are going to be pretty limited because they're probably not the only copywriter who's going to be looking up for jobs. You will have to learn how to use this tool, what I call retrain and reskill. Yeah, Chris, that's what we say. Retrain, reskills, and conversion. Based on your experience and your skill with language, right? What else can you do to retrain yourself to do something else? So
Okay.
instead of just being
Can
a
you explain?
copywriter,
Yeah. Sorry. Can you explain a bit more what do you mean by retrain, reskill, and conversion?
right? Retrain is basically well, training yourself to learn about ChatGPT and all the other chatbots, understand what it does. Means as a copywriter and you're very skilled with words, you could go into a new job called prompt engineering, which is a big word now. Prompt engineering is one of the new jobs that has been spin off out of ChatGPT. Okay, it is a real job. It is a real, can be a money income source if you know how to use it, if you know how to market yourself. As you Google now, if you Google now, you see there's a lot of people already created online websites where they are actually selling. They're creating all this what we call chat GPT chat prompts. They are actually selling all these words. So in many ways, it's like instead of creating a greeting card website that sells greeting cards with lots of lovely words on it, these people are just selling words online. So that's one way a copywriter could utilize its skills, his or her skills, to retrain, become to learn about ChatGPT and reskill themselves to become a prompt engineer. That's one immediately top of the head. I think that's what they could do. Alternatively, they could go into web creating web blogs. Means go and look for creative contents, what to write, and then tell the ChatGPT to write it. So maximizing time to use the organic process of creativity, okay, which is one of the things that the chatbots cannot do. If I get time, as you could see, I posted on the chatbots, there are some jobs that the chatbots cannot replace. The few areas will be because you need empathy, you need creativity, you need emotions, you need feelings. And those are the things that the chatbots don't have, because they are essentially a machine that is very fast, perceived to be very smart, only because it's able to churn out what you want in a split second. This is based on a very huge and vast billions of data that's already pre-existing.
Yeah. So Sharon, actually, what kind of skills do you think that that these copywriters would need in order to be able to use this ChatGPT? What kind of what kind of skills?
Well, I don't think I think it's evolving from what they're already good at, but having to take the time to be creative. And because with all these chatbots platforms, they could churn out work much faster than it used to be traditionally. Because traditionally, if you're going to write a piece, you have to think about what you want to write. You have to use the right words. You've written it, and then you go back and you refine it, and you change it. It can sometimes be a good copywriter who's very dedicated to the high quality of work will go through their work and refine it, right? But with ChatGPT, you just tell it what you're trying to say, and it'll quite often come up with something absolutely perfect.
So, but how would like Noel was saying earlier on, how would you solve the problem about hallucination?
Depends. Well, then you have to go and do your own research. So this is it. You don't have to sit down and crack your brain. You actually don't even have to know a lot of things, because quite often the ChatGPT can actually give you something that you never thought about. But then you have to go off and check, is that real? It really depends on what you're writing. If you're writing about a piece, say a copywriter has morphed to become a blog writer, okay? And he could actually spew out more contents within a day rather than just do a research and just write one piece about one place. Okay. He has to go and check if those information are still valid, because I don't know if it's still ChatGPT itself. The information is based on is still only up to August 2021. So I don't know if they have gone beyond 2021. So you still need to go and check everything that the ChatGPT suggests to you in the body of context. The copywriter could actually tell the ChatGPT, give me some ideas. I want to write, say I want to write about Malaysia and its unique food. How many type of food is there? How many races are there? You know, tell me about the history, about the evolution of Malaysian food, right? He can write that out. He can actually put in his own words and make it organic using a very loose framework that was spewed out by the ChatGPT. Is it? Yeah. But then personalize it. So personalization requires a human auditing what is being given, a human checking it out, making phone calls, you know. So these are the things that the ChatGPT won't be able to do, because I would check if this curry shop is supposed to be good, right? It's a ChatGPT will just spew it out, but it's the human that say, is it still there? I think I better make some call if it's still there. Yeah. You get what I mean?
Yeah. So so do you think critical thinking skills would be important enough to help with the hallucination?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is something that you and I always talk about. And Chris, you're always talking about critical thinking. I think knowledge, to not fear it, but to grab it with both hands, to embrace it and learn about it. Retrain also leads to reskilling, and knowledge is the only way forward. And critical thinking is very important in formation of sound knowledge that is going to be helpful for us, you know.
So Sharon, in terms of conversion, would you mean that a copywriter could actually become a prompt engineer?
Yeah. Copywriter become prompt engineer.
Different job scope actually.
Yeah, maybe, you know, some very basic skills that I can purely see myself. Okay. Now I've been a full-time mom for I've been a full-time homeschooling mom for 16 or 17 years. Right. I am a full-time mom till my son turned 20, only because I'm a bit of a helicopter mom. You know, and I'm really just right now, you know, only coming back to the workforce. I can actually utilize, I tell all my friends this, anybody can get into the AI environment now. Okay. Because if you can teach yourself using AI, right? Look at how fast I picked up about Microsoft Windows Server. In the short period of few months I've been working with Noel, right? I understand what server is all about, what Azure is all about, what cloud is all about. I mean, I went from zero base because of ChatGPT. No doubt Noel will point out and says, oh, that's a hallucination, Sharon. That's not right, right? So you see, you still need the human teacher and mentor to tell you what you're reading is not right, right? So ChatGPT can't tell you that. It just tells you what it wants to tell you. If I can restart from zero base, getting into the IT industry via ChatGPT, right, then I think anybody can retrain and reskill. I do see ChatGPT as a huge open opportunity for anybody to get into a piece of action when as far as job and money making is concerned. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So okay. So as a copywriter, what do you think the mindset and attitude that they should have in dealing with AI?
I don't think we should concern about copywriters, because I think when they're in that kind of industry, they are generally have many pots that they dip their hands into. They don't just do copywriting. And like I say, a lot of copywriters will most likely aspire to become a creative director, okay? Because you don't need to know how to draw to become a creative director. You just need to know how to come up with creative concepts and wordings. Wordings are the most, I think, creative directors who knows how to do text are actually more desirable than the creative directors who just draw concepts, okay? So I think a lot of the I don't think we need to worry about the copywriters, because I think they will already have got their fingers in many pies, means the journalistic travel logs, blogs and all. They would have moved on with it. Perhaps what we should ask a lot of our participants, is if anyone is concerned about their job being replaced by AI, maybe, I would like to take up the challenge. Send me a message. Let me and Chris and the team will sit down and think about how we could figure out what can be retrained and then reskill to move on. I mean, the best thing to do is plug it into ChatGPT. Say, if you are an accountant, which thank you to Linus, he gave us a very valid real life case where an accountant lost a big job because the clients decided to use ChatGPT, only to come back and give the accountant a whole stack of papers, says, now can you read through that and make sure it's all correct, right? In that situation, I would say the accountant should change mindset. Still charge the same by the hour, because I'm no longer accountant, but I'm a professional consultant now with years of experience. And I will check your paper for you for this amount of money. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think outside the box. Be critical thinking. Think outside the box. Don't get stuck.
But
So I will encourage anyone who is in the audience now, send us a job. It'll be interesting, right, Chris? Let us think how we can feed into ChatGPT. Says, how can this person retrain and become still valuable, or if not advance further, with the help of ChatGPT, and see what comes out.
I think the danger is that if to have a negative mindset that, oh, you're going to lose our job, rather than okay, how can I reskill or retrain or do a conversion, and the important attitude of willing to learn. I think if you don't have the attitude of willing to learn, then you end up with a mindset, I'm going to lose my job. But if you have an attitude willing to learn, I think then you would have the opportunity to be retrained, reskill, and have that conversion, I think.
Absolutely. Be open-minded. This is what we are different. We're human. We are creative. Immediately now, Chris, I can tell you, I can think of a new job for myself. I can be a new ChatGPT retrain, reskill professional consultant. You don't know what to do in your job. Your job is definitely going to be cancelled out, quite not immediate, but eventually. Okay, come and talk to me. We'll explore and I'll teach you, figure out how to retrain, reskill, and conversion together with ChatGPT or Bing Chat and all these AI platforms. There, I got new job already, Chris. I can just put myself a consultant now. I can actually use ChatGPT to write my website, my professional CV. I can write, and I don't even have to think about it. Okay, I just tell ChatGPT what I'm trying to achieve, and it will do it all for me. Can you understand how how scary but still amazing this? Use this gift. It's amazing.
It's creating opportunity now, because you got people who need to be retrained and reskilled, and looking at conversion, how to convert their job in order to be able to to move up.
I can see myself doing this. If someone come to me and say, hey, okay, if I charge by the hour, let's explore. How do you retrain, reskill, and convert yourself along with AI? Okay, either retain your job or even become better. That's a job already.
Well, awesome discussion. All right, Chris, Sharon, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we run out of time. All right, so we're gonna close. All right, I just wanted to start by sharing what are the things that you should do and you should not do, right, when you're using a tool like ChatGPT. Obviously, you want to always check the results of your searches, right, from the prompts that you're using and so forth. You can use the AI detectives, right? probably use more than one, but even the AI detectors do have faults, right? So you need to probably use even Bing Chat to reference, to get proper references and so forth. And of course, don't use any or don't enter in any private and confidential data. Okay, so these are important basics that, and definitely don't just copy and paste what you find from ChatGPT or any of these AI tools, right? So it's very important for us to be careful when we're using it. All right, the keyword is really just make sure that you're thinking about what you're doing. Now, the other bit that I wanted to also offer to those of you who are in here and you're interested in security, we have a Security 101 group on WhatsApp. Okay, you can scan the QR code and join this. All right, Chris and a few others are regularly sharing on this. And the reason why we talk about security is because in many, many ways, AI is being used to scam us, right? We can be victims of scams and trickery and so forth, right? And therefore, AI and security are very closely knitted, if you want. So a lot of times when Chris and some of the others share in this Security 101 group, they will talk about how AI is used for that. And of course, we also want to hear from you, right? The feedback is very important. So if you can scan this QR code, give us your feedback. We want to hear from you, right? In terms of how and what you learned from this session. And hopefully that will help us also massage and change the content accordingly to the needs of yourself, right? And thank you so much for joining us. All right. Anyone want to unmute themselves to give us some feedback? They're welcome to. All right. We appreciate the time you've taken. Right. Heartfelt thank you from myself and my team. All right. For those of you who have joined us. Right. There will be sessions happening next Tuesday and the Tuesday after as well. So this is not the end, right? If you want. And of course, we welcome any of you to join us to share as well. We are not limiting it to just a small group of people because we believe that it's a fast growing group of people with knowledge about AI and ChatGPT and so forth. So please do join us. We love to hear from you. And that takes us to the end for today. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Okay,
Tim.
bye.
Tamar. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Chris.